Okay, in this video I'm going to demonstrate how to set up a new blog post and all the configuration to make that work on your computer. This is for the Sarnia Tech Community website, but it's pretty applicable for any Jekyll-based website. And Jekyll is the system we use to build the site from a set of input files. So to start off with, you're going to want to make a GitHub account. This is where we store a lot of our data. So if you just go to sign up, if you go to github.com, you can go sign up and follow through to do username, email, password, etc. This will get you set up. This has a free plan to start off with. There's a ton of stuff you can do with that. So there's no monetary involvement necessary to get going. So this is my account that's already been signed in. So from here, you can actually just search kind of in the top here, or you can type in Sarnia Tech Community, get to the Sarnia Tech Community's GitHub page. And in here you'll see they have the Sarnia Tech Community.github.io. And this is basically the internally where the website is hosted. So this has a whole bunch of files that make everything up, but we can't really work with this by itself just like this. So what we actually want to do is grab what's called a Git client. So the one that kind of GitHub makes is available at desktop.github.com. And this is a pretty good one to get started with. People have a lot of different ones, but this one's pretty good. So you just download for your computer. Once that is downloaded, this will give you something like this once you sign in. So this is if we actually back out, I'm actually going to remove this just to show you a blank state. So this is the getting started spot, but we're actually going to do stuff from the website side of things. So if I come in here and I go download or clone, this is where you can go in to do stuff. But before we clone this, we actually want to create what's called a fork. So the way that Git works is, Git and GitHub work, is that you have your own copy of all the code. And then you can make edits and changes to your copy, and then when you're ready, you can send that back to kind of the master repository of everything. So to do that, we want to actually make a fork. So at the top of the page here, we can go fork. And I'm going to copy it I have different accounts, so I'll just bring that in. And it'll take a moment, not very long because it's pretty small. Now, one thing I didn't, actually I just couldn't go, so we'll move forward. So here where we go clone or download, we can actually go open in desktop and go, yep. And this is going to ask where we want to put the files. So this here looks fine, it's not a problem. So I am going to make note it's in my users, shape, edit documents, GitHub, Sarnia Tech Community folder, because I'll need that in a bit. All right, so it's downloaded all the files, and right now it's saying that there's nothing that's been changed, which makes sense. So, yeah, so what we're going to do is, my machine's already set up to edit this. So we have to do a couple more things to get your machine ready to edit. So it's saying right now, open in Visual Studio Code. That's because I already have that installed. If we go to code.visualstudio.com, we can just download this here. And this is just a text editor. So when I open this, we'll see that we can just go into the files and I can edit the text. That makes up all these different files. Because the way it's set up, it'll give you a preview, so I can see the preview of what the images look like, because editing the text of an image doesn't really work. So that's what this is what Visual Studio Code is. And again, there's a bunch of different options here, but this is the one I use. All right, so the one thing I'm going to skip over is setting up Ruby and Bundler. I will put a couple of links below, but that's pretty standard setup, but it really depends on the type of computer, whether you have Windows or a Mac or Linux or and even a bunch of other stuff. So I'll provide links to set that up. But what Ruby and Bundler will give you is some of the foundational tools needed to run the software. So what I'm going to do is bring up Terminal. So Terminal on the Mac is how you can kind of interact with the command line, kind of like your DOS prompt. This will be the same as opening up the command program on Windows or I think just the terminal as well on Linux. So this is basically giving us a text version of kind of your Finder or Windows Explorer, and it also lets you interact with the computer more tightly. So what we're going to do is we're going to do cd, which is change directory, into documents /github/shininytechcommunity.github.io. And I'm hitting, the way mine's set up, I can hit tab to kind of auto complete stuff, but alternatively, you just have to type in whatever/whatever/whatever. So from here, I've already downloaded all the code. If I type in ls, I can see all the files. So that's listing the files. But what I want to do at this point is to basically set up the software stack that runs everything. So we open up this gem file here. We can see that this is using Jekyll, Minima. We're also using a Jekyll feed plugin and some time zone info stuff. So that's all kind of bundled. These are dependencies that we've said we need to run things. So to do that, we can go to the command line here and go bundle, install, and then we'll install all of those dependencies plus child dependencies. So that's why we only had 3 things, but we've got 30 or something that I listed there. At this point, we can now do bundle exec, and what this is going to do is it's going to make sure that when we run whatever we want to run, which is going to be what we type in next, it's going to be run in the environment of what we've got listed here. So if I'm running version 1 of Jekyll and version 2 of Jekyll on 2 different projects, when I do bundle, if I didn't do bundle exec, then I don't know necessarily which version is going to be used. But if I do bundle exec Jekyll whatever, then it's going to run the correct version for the project that I'm looking at. So the key takeaway is use bundle exec. So I can do bundle exec Jekyll, and for right now I'm just going to do Jekyll build. So that did stuff. Perfect. If I hop over to the editor, I can see what it's done is it made this _ site folder. And this is actually, if I wanted to, I could get this entire contents of this folder, and I could actually send that up to the server, and that's the website. So before, the input files are all these other files. So if I look at the index, this has got some stuff at the top, some content, and some other stuff. But if I look at the index here, you see it has tons of HTML and CSS and all the stuff going on. So this is the actual real built-out website. So I can actually pull up those files individually, but that's kind of a little bit tedious and annoying. So they actually give us a shortcut, so we can do Jekyll, we have bundle exec Jekyll serve. And you'll see this is running a server on port 4000, so I can actually just grab that there and bring up the website. So this is the website on my computer. And I can tell that by going in here and editing, for example, the index page. I can say, I don't know, hurting Shiny Tech Community. Wonder if this will be accepted. And if I refresh the page, it's hurting Shiny Tech Community. Let's change that back to helping. So there we go. That's probably, so we can see that we can make a change. And if we actually pull up the terminal, we can even see that it's regenerating stuff and how long it's taking and other details. So let's review where we are right now. We've made a GitHub account, downloaded the desktop client. We've downloaded a text editor. We then forked the repository that we have our own personal copy, which is perfect for people who are putting in silly things like hurting starting this tech community. Means that doesn't get pushed live. We can now run this. We can build the website just by itself, or we can do an automatic updating one, which is perfect for testing and whatnot. So at this point, we basically have we can edit the pages. So let's see about making an actual blog post. So if we go into the posts folder, we can make a new file, and by convention, you want to do year dash month dash date, which is the 14th dash, and then probably the page title. Let's say first post, and we're going to do a markdown file just to just show you how things work here. So the way markdown works is if you put a pound sign, this is a biggest heading. If you do pound, you do subheading, and pound is a sub heading. If you do some text, it will come out as a paragraph. If you do something that looks like a list, though, star, milk, eggs, cheese, this looks like a list. And if you did numbered lists, that comes out like a numbered list. And you can also, if you wanted to, you can make things italic or bold because cheese is delicious. So let's say this is our blog post. We can actually go now to /blog. You see first post, and I guess you don't have any styling for H2 and H3s. But this is your basic setup. So I should just check and see what that looked like. Make sure that's not an error with what's been set up. Nope, lists, paragraph, H1, H2, H3. Yep, they all look good. Okay. Well, probably need to update to the site's theme. So we also have an option of doing what's called front matter. So on one of the pages you saw that. This is where you can put key values. And these are things that are kind of like used throughout the template in special ways. So if we do, I think we do author. And then this is by Jonathan Bennett. So you can do something like that. And that's because that's in the template that is set up, which is probably topic for another post. So, so the website up and running on your computer using bundle exec Jekyll serve that lets us preview things. We put a new file into the post folder, and we name it year-month-day- whatever we want .md, and then we can put our information here, and that is the gist of the work to edit things. So let's hop back to that GitHub desktop. We can now see that we've edited this file here, and I guess we've done something with our, probably a new line or something like that. We probably don't want to keep this stuff. And over here, it looks like we changed the line ending or something. So again, we probably don't actually want to make those changes. So let's just uncheck that because, yeah, we're not going to do that. And over here, this looks good. This is beautiful. So, yep, we're going to say we're good here. So we'll say my first post. And I can commit this. Actually, before I do that, I'm actually going to do separately. I want to make, well, yeah, we'll do this. We'll just commit this. There's a few ways that you do this. It's a little more complicated that are worthwhile doing branching, but for the sake of just getting this set up, we'll do that. So if we look at our history, we can see my first post is here. We can see other posts, other changes that people have made going backwards, but we have ours. So we have this, and that looks all good. So what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to push this up. So this here says that we're all good. We could have alternate different branches, but for right now, this is all looking the way we want it. We want to push this up to origin. So with Git, origin is the master external repository you're kind of connected to. So this is GitHub in this case. You also see one here that's called upstream, and this is the originating master repo. So this is the Sarnia Tech community version of things. So for now, we're just going to push this up to origin. And if we hop back over to GitHub, we should see one minute ago we did this commit. Beautiful. And we have an option here to make a pull request. So I'm going to do a pull request. And what this is doing is it's saying, look at my files, make sure they look good to you and everything, just do a sanity check. And if they look good, then pull it in and make it part of the master version of everything. So we would look through here and say, double check things. Yep, this all looks good. Maybe we accidentally put a password in here. That's where we go, ooh, when we need to handle that, take care of it first. We also see up here that we're comparing my master with Sarnia Tech Community's master. We could have different branches that have different versions of stuff. So this is just basically saying, what are you comparing against? This all looks good. We have our one commit. Maybe this is, if we've done more work, maybe there's 5 or 10 things and we gone back and forth and added pictures and whatever. So maybe it's more complicated than just this one commit, but this looks good. So I'm going to do create a pull request. And here we can actually write up a description for the pull request itself. So I'm going to do pull request for vlog. I'm going to leave a comment. I'm going to say, please leave alone. I will remove. So I'm just letting them know that I'm going to take care of this. You have options that other people kind of reach in and touch stuff if they needed to or whatnot. So I will say go. So it's going to do some automatic tests to make sure things will work properly. But if I actually am, so now I'm looking at Sarnia Tech Community pull requests. I can see that there's one pull request for vlog sitting right here. And this here, if I actually went in here, I can actually do, so because I have permissions, I'm actually doing a merge pull request here. And I can actually put this file this edit onto the live website by just clicking this button right here and waiting 3 minutes or so. So that's actually the whole process of getting it up and running on your computer, creating the edits to posts or edits to pages, submitting as a pull request, and then myself as a maintainer, I can actually pull that in and access it, get it onto the website for everyone. All right. There's a few other areas to talk about. So, for example, what are the structure of the pages? That way, you can use if you look in there in the site, there's multiple layouts, and that's where you would kind of be able to do different page layouts and different systems or sort of different sections of the site. Those also give you the option of doing markdown files, which are kind of a little simpler. A little bit more simple with less options, or you can do a full HTML page where you can actually go and edit all the code. So there's a lot of different options once we actually get into how things work for future videos, but this is the basics.